Hello BookTube, Sarah here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a tag, but this is not at all a book related tag. I'm not going to be talking about books at all in this video, so if this is not something you guys might be interested in, I fully understand and I will hope to check you in my next video. But this is the wedding tag, and today, the day that this is actually being uploaded, is my 7-year wedding anniversary. I talked about this really quickly in my Friday reads a couple days ago, and at the beginning of the month when I was kind of figuring out what videos I was going to be doing this month, I realized that, because I like to post on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, that on the Monday was my wedding anniversary, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a tag based on weddings. So I looked and there was a book-related wedding tag, but it was more like, who would you have as, what book character would you have as your maid of honor? And I don't think that way. I don't think that way when I'm reading books. And, I just, it wasn't for me. But then I came across this tag, and it's just like a straight up kind of questions about your wedding. And I just thought it would be kind of fun to sit here and reminisce with you guys. I will try and post some pictures up here that pertain to some of the certain questions. So there's 20 of them. Let's jump right in and get started. So question number 1, how long was the engagement? It was a year. We met in May 2nd of 2009. We met in May of 2009. May 2nd. We were engaged in July. So 2 months later, we were engaged. We married in July of 2010. So July 24th, obviously, of 2010. So the engagement itself was a year. We met online. I'm not ashamed to say that. And we talked for about 2 months before we actually met in person. But, it obviously worked out. Question number 2, were you helped by family or a wedding planner? By family. We did all this ourselves. We planned our entire wedding from start to finish ourselves. We paid for it all out of our own pockets, Garrett and I. My family helped a little with some of the things, but yeah, mostly it was on Garrett and I. But we did have help, like, my best friend and my family helped me out and stuff like that. 3, religious or civil marriage? It was religious. We got married in a church. I hadn't planned on getting married in a church. I never had that plan in my mind. Neither Garrett nor I are overly religious, but there was this little church north of us that my best friend had her 2 daughters baptized at, and it's a United Church, and it was the most adorable little country church. Again, I'll try and post a picture of it here. It is just so beautiful, and it was a woman minister, or it is a woman minister, and I really, really like her. I decided, since, we were actually going to go get married there, I should attend service every now and then. And my husband didn't, but that didn't bother her in the least, like the minister. She's like, you don't have to be a member of the church. But I still wanted to go, and Christmas Eve service was just lovely. I absolutely loved it. So I'm like, yes, I need to get married here. And it was really reasonable, and it's a really, like I said, a pretty church, and I loved it. Question 4, large or small wedding? It was a small wedding by most standards. We had between 50 and 60 people in total. And mostly it was family, some friends. Neither one of us have huge families. So it was just really, really nice and intimate. And I got to actually talk to everybody, which was fantastic. Question number 5, wedding colors or theme? This always makes me laugh. I remember saying something to somebody about wedding theme, and my husband saying, isn't wedding the theme? And it's true. Why you need a theme for a wedding? But say la vie. No, if anything, it probably would have just been floral flowers. My centerpieces were real flower, like all the flowers were real, but they were potted, like actually potted, so they were still alive. They weren't cut dead flowers. And my bouquet, and it was just colorful and all those things. So yeah. 6, indoors or outdoors? Of course, my ceremony was indoors, and the reception was indoors as well. 7, did you write your own vows? No. No. That was just on top of all the other stress, especially paying for it. And at the time, my husband was out of work, so it was, we were I was struggling to try and get everything done. Writing my own vows was the last thing I was thinking about. 8, did you see each other before the wedding? No. We were living together, but he spent that night, like the night before, at his mother's, and I stayed in the apartment. And then we didn't see each other until the ceremony. So that was really kind of nice. 9, photographer or cameraman? We did have a photographer. It was a friend of a friend's father, and he did a good job. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm really happy with them for what we paid. It wasn't a professional. Again, we just didn't have the money for some big expensive professional photographer. And you know what? I'm happy with the pictures. They're not the best. They're not these amazingly photo, up pictures, but they're reflective of us, and that's all that really matters. You know what I mean? Question number 10, transportation. My dad's van. Again, we didn't have a limo or anything like that. I was brought to the ceremony in my dad's van with my mom and my brother and my bridesmaids. And my mom, my dad, no, my brother went and picked up Garrett and my bridesmaids. And then after the ceremony, Dad drove us, like after the wedding ceremony, because it was a different venue. It was about 10 minutes away. We drove to the reception in the van, and then later on, he took me home to pick up my car. 11, something old, new, and blue. I don't remember if I did this. New, semi-new would have been my dress. Blue? Oh, I had my garter. My garter was actually my aunt's, and she had worn it when she got married. And it's a pretty little lacy garter, and it had a blue ribbon through it. So that was my blue. And then I can't remember. I really can't remember. I know I borrowed the necklace that I wore. I borrowed the chain from my mother. But yeah, I don't know if that was a big deal, but I really can't remember. What did your dress look like? I'll post a picture of it here. This is one of the only full-length pictures I think we got of the dress. It was actually bought used. I shouldn't say that it wasn't used. It was bought at a consignment shop, but it had never been worn. It was originally from David's Bridal. I don't know who the designer was or whether it was like a David's Bridal designed gown. My aunt bought it for me because my aunt has no, my mom's sister, she has no girls. She had 2 boys. And she always kind of, like, when you have a son, the wedding planning thing is a little different. You're kind of like just the mother of the groom. You're just meant to show up. You're not really into the planning parts of it. So my aunt kind of wanted to be involved with me because I'm the only girl on both sides of the family, on both my mom's side and my dad's side. So my aunt kind of wanted, and it was her wedding gift to me, was this dress. So we went to this consignment shop and we found it. I actually wasn't looking at it. Somebody else in the shop, because I was kind of like, it's kind of really hard to see a gown until you've put it on. And this other lady who was paging through gowns at the store, she pulled it off and she said, well, what do you think about this one? And I kind of went, nah. She goes, oh, just try it on like this. Just some random person in the store. So I tried it on and it was my favorite. It had to be taken in quite significantly because the woman, I guess what had happened maybe is that she bought the gown and never got married. Because like I said, it had never been worn. But she was a lot bustier than I was, let's put it that way. So it had to be taken in quite a bit in, this area up here. But it ended up fitting me perfectly, and I was totally happy with it, and I absolutely love that dress. It's hanging in the closet just over here. I thought about what to do afterward. The dress, I don't mind telling you guys, it was $300. And for me to take it back to the consignment shop, I would have to have it cleaned first. Cleaning costs about $75, and the consignment shop was only going to give me about $150 for it, so it really wasn't worth it. I wasn't going to make a lot of money off of after doing all that, and I mean, that's then. It's probably costing a lot more now. So I haven't decided whether or not I actually want to go ahead and return the dress or not. Question number 13. Describe your bouquet. I had Gerber daisies. I love Gerber daisies. They are my absolute favorite flower of all time. I don't know what it is about them, but they're beautiful. And I was debating on what to do. So what I actually did, I had 3 bridesmaids. My best friend, my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, and my stepdaughter. And what I did was I assigned each girl a color. All my bridesmaids wore black. These beautiful black dresses that were absolutely appropriate for my best friend Amber, who was at the time a mother. She had her first daughter. I think Megan was like a year old, or not quite a year old. And then my sister-in-law, who had just had Caitlin, my niece, and my stepdaughter, who was 14. So I wanted a dress that would be appropriate for all 3 of those ladies. And I found one, and they were all black. And, but really pretty summer dresses. Like my best friend told me, she re-wore that dress twice to events with her now ex-husband's work. So that worked out quite well. And they were dirt cheap. The bridesmaids dresses cost, I think, it was buy 2 get 1 for a penny. I'm not kidding. It was a big sale at Sears at the time. So we paid like really reasonable for those dresses, or the girls did anyway. And so their bouquets for my bridesmaids, They each got, they carried Gerber daisies, but like Amber's were all orange. Jessica's, my sister-in-law's, were all red, I think, and then my stepdaughter Cheyenne's were all yellow. And then my bouquet had all those colors along with pink. And then with these really neat green kind of flowers. If I can find a picture, I'll post it. But they were like a spider kind of flower is what they were called, which I don't like spiders, but they were really pretty. And I really love that bouquet. It was absolutely gorgeous. Sorry, my tablet turned off on me. The song you entered, or question number 14, the song that you entered was the Bridal March. We didn't pick anything. The church said we could pick something. We didn't. We're boring that way. Question number 15, DJ or band. We actually didn't do either. We did, we rented this electronic equipment and then we hooked it up to my husband's laptop and just had it play music. Simple. First dance song. Garrett and I first danced to Sarah Smile by Hall & Oates. At the time that we got married, it had been redone by a country singer named Jimmy Wayne. But I liked the original version better, so that's the song that we picked. For me and my dad, for our first dance, it was My Girl by The Temptations, which I think is a pretty standard father-daughter first dance song. Describe your cake. I don't remember. Guys, this is going to sound so bad. It's not like these things didn't matter, but it wasn't as big a deal to me as some things. My cake was bought at a grocery store, like a Walmart, and it was $20. And I'm pretty sure it might have been Black Forest. It was literally just something we could cut for pictures. I'm not kidding. We ate it afterward. It got cut for the pictures. And then it went home with my mom. And on the Sunday when we came back from our honeymoon, we pulled it out of it was in my grandmother's freezer at the time. And we all, like, your entire family sat around and ate it. It was really good. It was chocolate, I think. It might have been Black Forest. I don't remember. Did everything go as planned? I wasn't a bridezilla. I was totally a go with the flow. It is what it is. It was hot as all get out the day that we got married. I mean, it was stifling. And, I mean, it was late July. And we got finished with the ceremony. We stepped outside, got a few pictures in front of the church, and a torrential downpour started. And it lasted like about an hour. So when we got to the hall, luckily the hall was air conditioned. We actually had our reception in a Legion. I don't know if you guys have Legions in the US, but it was the General Swirsky Hall, and it was a Polish hall. And the big joke was, when I was growing up, is we always used to pass this place. It was north of where my family lives. And my grandmother, who's of Polish, she's from Poland. She came over from Poland when she was 3. So of course I am a quarter Polish. The joke was I was always going to get married there. Well, truth later is that I actually did, and the food was to die for. Oh my god, the food. People still talk about the food at my wedding. That's how good it was. But anyway, so I got married in this hall, or had the reception in this hall. The rain only lasted about an hour, and then it stopped, and then it got so muggy afterward. But you can't control the weather. No matter what you try and do, you can't control the weather. Everything else went pretty good. The whole system with the music, we were having major issues with, which was really disappointing. But it is what it is. There's nothing you can do to change it. Question number 19, where did you go on your honeymoon? Because again, we paid for everything ourselves and we didn't have a lot of money. We, ended up just going up north. If you guys are familiar with Southern Ontario, we went to the Kawartha Lakes area, which is home of 1,000 lakes, as it's called. It's cottage country. People have a lot of cottages and trailers and stuff up there. We went and stayed in a hotel in Peterborough, which is like the big city up there. And we just kind of puttered around to the different little cities. We went on nature walks. We went to a beach. It was wonderful. You know, like, personal opinion, everybody's different, but we got married at the end of July. Why on earth you would want to go to the Caribbean at the end of July and swelter even more? But that's just me. We loved it. We had a great time. That's all that matters. And the worst and the best time was getting married. As far as I'm concerned, it wasn't the wedding, it wasn't the dress, it was marrying my best friend. I know, that's cheesy and goofy, but it's true. And the worst time had to have been that whole thing I mentioned about the DJ, that it didn't kind of, you know, like work out. Not the DJ, but the music thing, which was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So anyway, guys, that's the wedding tag. I am obviously not going to tag anybody in this because it's just a tag I happen to find on YouTube. If any of you guys want to do this, please by all means do, because I don't know about you guys, but I love hearing about other people's weddings. I love seeing other people's wedding pictures. I appreciate if you decided to watch this. I know it wasn't about books, my usual forte, but I hope you liked it anyway. And until my next video, guys, take care and happy reading. Thanks for watching. Bye.